for abortion.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Welcome to the lab. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to be here. I'm your host.
Chunky chunk.
That's not my name.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
My name is not Chunky Chunk.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Joshua Diaz, that's my name. Complete coincidence that happened right then. I know, corn dogs for everybody. Except I haven't had a corn dog in a long time, so. Josh, you're my brother in Christ. Good. I appreciate that. Yeah, I went to the barbecue. I went to the barbecue. That's true. Yep. It was all right. I don't know. I won't know if I'm sick for it was like a incubation period. So I'm not going to know if I'm sick for a while. I stayed away from the deviled eggs. I'll let you know. But the last barbecue I went to, there just so happened to be an outbreak. And it sucked. It's like 24. So 24 hours from now, if I'm not doing all that well, then you'll be the last to know. I feel fine. I feel good. I feel strong. Anyway, please hit that like button. Share it. If you have not, consider subscribing. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Summer Wells case. But the problem is you can't talk the Summer Wells case without getting into harebrained ideas. And I was blaming Don for a lot of this stuff. And I mean, it kind of is a lot of his fault, the stuff that he perpetrates and repeats and all that kind of shiz, you know what I'm saying? And it's just not valuable to the investigation. And I think that this is my most deepest personal opinion that they kind of ran out of things to blame Summer going missing on. And they went down this rabbit hole, this stupid rabbit hole of this DCS whole, DCS is has ruined my life. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but I specifically remember a Dudley Aitchen, who I had a conversation with a couple of times, but I remember when he was interviewed by JLR, and that interview is on JLR's channel. I specifically remember him saying something along the lines of that Dawn wasn't supposed to be at the house, that CPS was involved, and that he was not supposed to be at the house, and that's why he had, was it a microwave or a refrigerator, and that he was staying at those houses while there was a DCS case going on. And apparently Dawn had told him that he wasn't allowed at the house when Summer, or, during this investigation or whatever it is that, Dawn claims that it was. That is what I've kind of, picked up from that situation. Now, I was wondering why would Dawn be asked to not, why is it that Dawn was asked to not go to the house? Why is it that he was not supposed to be there? Well, the only reason that I could find is that they were investigating child endangerment, abuse, things like that. Okay. And if you hear Dawn talk about the day that Summer went missing, he was clearly at the house. Now, he says that the day before Summer went missing, the DCS case was closed, that they sent a letter, and, who knows if that's true. But Dawn specifically said that he was at the house, and that he remembers because Summer was in the bed with him and Candace. And I don't want to go into any of that, but, we can kind of, I don't know. That to me. So if they were investigating that, then what more do they need to know to assume he would abuse Summer? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. The next day, Summer went missing. So Dawn wasn't even supposed to be at that house. And if you listen to him, he was at the house that morning because the CPS case was closed the day before. Now, what he says the DCS case is he says that it was because the children were playing with firearms. That somebody said that they were playing with firearms, and that that's what happened. And, so on and so on and so on. Summer goes missing, and then just in short order after that, his three boys taken into custody by the state. And that is where the rubber meets the road, sort of, because Dawn, since Tim has integrated himself into Dawn's life, left him almost no choice whatsoever. And I can tell you that the only way that Tim Mullen met Dawn was showing up at the prayer vigil. Dawn, he would message Dawn. He'd leave notes for Dawn. He'd stand down the road from Dawn. And Tim, if you're watching, hi, I'll get to you in a minute in your little Facebook page, because, I mean, it's just, it's out of hand. You're out of hand, you're out of pocket, and you're out of line. And you're crazy, legitimately. Like, and I don't say that to be mean, but like with the things that perpetrate from your brain to your fingertips to the page that is supposed to be about finding summer wells, not criticizing government agencies, Mr. Mullen, is ridiculous. These children needed a home. I've had several conversations with Don about this. Good conversations. Meaning he was very honest. And when I say that, and a lot of you saw it right here on this show, that that Don said that the kids don't want to go back. They don't want to go back. They're never going back. And because they're happy where they're at. And the kids will age out, and then that'll be the way. That'll be the way that Don, if they're not in jail or prison for something, maybe for Summer's disappearance, maybe for something else. I don't know. Don does crazy stuff all the time. But I don't get Tim's angle here. I gotta tell you. I mean, he has become obsessed. And then that's when you hear this DCS, that. And now it's being said that Don has made vague threats about, somebody being hurt or shot or something along those lines at DCS. And I don't know how many of you have heard that, but that's what's being discussed now. Is it a crime to do that? Yeah, I think so. Now, once again, we'll probably end up dealing with technicalities, all that kind of stuff. What is this? I'm blurry and Chad is too. Am I? I don't think I am. Am I? Am I blurry? Jam, I got to tell you, I don't know. I have no idea. I wish I did know. I don't know. Did Candace leave Don? I don't know about that either, to be honest with you. I don't know. I hope, look, their relationship has been a lot of that leaving, coming back, leaving, coming back. It seems as though that's kind of what they do. So just because somebody says, oh yeah, they broke up, that doesn't mean much. Especially, I've been covering this case now over 3 years, very beginning, day one, listening. I've seen it. I've read it. And I know that one of the things that they do, and before Summer went missing, Don spent 6 months in Utah with his oldest son. I mean, he wasn't even there at the house. That's when you enter Jose into the situation. And then Don gets kind of wears out his welcome in Utah. And, there are some things that I can't, because I can't confirm them yet. And we're working on that, and we will get it confirmed. And once it's confirmed, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about his time in Utah, because I do think that it could and does pertain to the case in some way. I don't know exactly what, but there's things that, that we have been, when I say we, mean some others have been looking at. And I do think that there's a correlation. I'm not trying to tease you. As soon as I can verify those claims, I'll let you know. I think 3 years down the road, I think things need to be brought up, and I know Tim Mullen has this whole ridiculous, DCS bull crap. I would believe the stranger abduction story well before the DCS story. I don't believe DCS stole his children. I don't believe DCS stole Summer. I don't think they have a thing to do with it. Not at all. Not one bit. Not one bit. And I know that things have gotten quiet with the case. It feels like it's a cold case. I don't necessarily know. They say that it's not. Who knows? Who knows if it is? But there are some very interesting things. And I will have to, unfortunately, I'll have to talk to Don if he's willing before that happens. If he doesn't want to, then he doesn't have to. And I'll bring out everything that I can possibly publicly, as much as I can, and we'll try and peel the onion away, because there was some things that went down in Utah all the way back before Summer went missing, and then it spilled over, and then another, what I consider a major incident, is right on the horizon as soon as Summer goes missing, just right after that. And it involves a GoFundMe. It involves the GoFundMe that was set up and shut down rather quick. I vaguely remember it. I don't know if any of you remember the GoFundMe that was set up right after Summer went missing. Maybe some of you do. But there's stuff there. And there's just not, I mean, I got to tell you. That it's just doesn't look good. Have you followed Summer's case since the beginning? Since the day it started. It came up on my feed. I can't remember where, but it came up on my feed, and then it was I don't know. It was just very sad. Candace acted like she was clueless. Well, that's kind of what she does. And I know a lot of people go, well, she's the mother of a missing child. And I don't care what anybody says. And people can criticize me, and they have criticized me, and they'll continue to criticize me. And I'll continue not to care, because the thing is, I mean, you'll never convince me. Never until it's proven to me otherwise, that the behavior has been normal. And then the characters that get involved, like Tim Mullen, and I don't know how many of you saw Tim Mullen's post the other day, but he's crazier than ever. And it just gets worse and worse and more conspiracy laden. Tim is not well. I really, truly don't believe that he's well, and he freaks me out. So I'm going to talk about this just a little bit. So this is let me take the chat box down. All right. So how many of you have seen this? All right. Here we go. So this is the quote unquote official Find Summer Wells Facebook page. So pisses me off so bad. It's bad. This is yesterday. It's bad enough to lose a child, but DCS doesn't train their employees of the residual they leave behind when taking children from families, regardless of circumstances. So circumstances be damned. It could be the worst situation that you've ever been in your life, and there's going to be residual effects. Yeah, that is about as obvious as one could get. I mean, is there something else that you want to do for us, Tim? You want to split the atom for us? You want to tell me exactly what you mean by this? Some residual? Residual what? Residual? That's not a word that you really let stand by itself. But you do because you suck at writing, you can't spell, and you're dumb. Okay, sorry. Tiger got out of the cage, but this is horse crap. My monkey says, such a tool. No question about it. Big time tool. Tool bag, Timmy. Oh, God, all right. I know. I went a little far. Sorry. Sorry, Tim. I don't think you're dumb. I really do. All right. So, Tim, I had no idea. Tim's like that kind of guy. It's like, universal health care is just not, have you ever been to England? You'll wait in a ER room for 3 whole days. You're like, how do you know? Because, you don't know, dude. You never been there. I read it. All right. So it's bad enough to lose a child, but DCS doesn't train their employees of the residual they leave behind when taking children from families, regardless of circumstances. This is what your policies and training create. Add this to your paycheck. So this man is literally talking crap. He's talking crap to people that are doing God's work. Now, I get it. Not all of them are perfect. Nobody's perfect. The system isn't perfect. I know it's flawed. I get it. All right. But this is so stupid. This is the stuff that you get Don so gassed up over. So you try and light a flare gun under his ass, and it's the dumbest thing ever. So parents can suffer. So he Googled some of this. Excessive irritability, fear, panic, desperation, anger, and bitterness, sometimes in sudden bouts. I don't know if that's right or not. Continued insomnia and nightmares. Feeling of unfairness at the death or issues around the death separation. I don't even know what the hell that means. I could use some clarification. Where's Dr. Gary when you need him? Dr. Gary, can you diagnose this guy for me? No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. You'll be there all night. You won't have a pad long enough. One of those little, you know what I'm saying? One of those little, like it doesn't mean anything. It's really, really odd. Difficulty. Okay. So intrusive thoughts about, bereavement, that happened, Sutter. Oh, sorry. Suddenly, Sutter. When trying to get on with other things, difficulty socializing and avoidance of social situations like prayer vigils and stuff like that. Oh no, Don went to a prayer vigil. Don and Candace went to a prayer vigil. They were there. Yeah, 3 years later. You get it? You really, you think the state wants, you think that people want to take your children? I don't believe that. I really just don't believe it. And I don't think that you could convince me of that either. Hold on here. And I don't think that I would want to be convinced of it because I don't believe it at all. Under any circumstances. I do not believe it. Yeah, I'm sure it's copied from several sources too. A sense that the world as they understood it has been shattered. Tough. What is wrong with him? He's so stupid. Well, I mean, that's possible. They already had that problem. A sense that the world as they knew it has been shattered. Intrusive thoughts. Okay, we did all that. Difficulty socializing in avoidance situations. Difficulty functioning. Difficulty doing daily tasks such as finding it hard to cope with stressful moments at work or stresses when caring or seeing children, feeling of futility about the future. What is the point of it all? Disinterest in planning for the future. These reactions and behaviors lasting for years with added psychological. Oh my God. Challenges. Fear to love or trust. So extended family member trauma. Generations of continuing residual damage. Okay, so he's got this whole rigmarole down here that says it's bad enough to lose a child, but DCS doesn't train their employees of the residual they leave behind. Parents suffer. The parents suffer. If I were Don, and God help me, but I'm just saying, if I were Don, I would tell Tim to take a hike somewhere high up into the mountains. Leave some, I don't know, make some markers. Maybe someday somebody will come see you. just a little Hansel and Gretel or whatever. Hansel and Gretel, is that what it is? The bread. And then the bread will get eaten, and then, Tim is gone. He's the worst. He has no idea what he's talking about, and he's making up stupid stuff. He just makes stuff up. None of anything that he said makes no sense and has nothing to do with what's going on with Don and Candace. Instead of having your little psychotic breaks where you type up this soliloquy of nonsensical residual. Can I say it that way? Nonsensical residual. Is that what it is? Nonsensical residual. The parents suffer. What about the kids? You're so worried about defending Don and Candace. No, regardless of the circumstances. And by the way, you would have to absolutely throw that in there in your paragraph, regardless of the circumstances, because you know the circumstances were bad. And I'll tell you this, if you didn't know them before, how the hell do you know what went on inside that house? My assumption, and I'll just say, because it is only my assumption and nothing more, but I'm scared to know what it was like in that house. And somebody coming from a busted, broken home, it doesn't, even though what happened with us ended tragically and sudden, my home life wasn't like that. Not like that. Not even close. God knows what those kids saw. Yeah, how do you defend them losing all of their children? I get wanting to be a friend. I get wanting to be supportive. I understand that on a molecular level. I get it. You want to support your friends. That's fine. It's like the deer blind lady that called in. She's like, I want to support Don and Candace. And, I love, they're good people. I met them 2 years ago. I'm like, yeah. You met them when? Oh, right after Summer went missing. Okay, so, I don't listen to those kind of people because they're Johnny come latelys. Yeah, the deer blind lady was the worst. She drove me nuts. Let me see. And Diana, thank you so much. Thanks, the lab, for keeping us up to date on this mess. And I appreciate that. Like I said, there'll be more coming out in the future, near future. Like I said, I will contact Dawn and a couple other people before it happens, just in case they want to give their side. And they're allowed, because, I think that's fair. Wouldn't you think that that's fair? I think it's fair. Yeah, the deer blind lady was a trip. It really was. So let's bring this up here. So Melissa says Candace and Don are unfit parents. I won't disagree with you on that. They really didn't look for Summer ever. And that's something that I've always kind of harped on, because I just don't see, I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't say like 100%. But the general consensus is that they did not search, that they were kind of complicit, and that their behavior was strange. All right. Even the detectives and the police that day, they all felt that something was amiss with the way that they acted. Now, I don't know how many of you know, but many, many moons ago, Nick Barris, who unfortunately, well, I mean, I guess he talked about it a little bit the other day, not much. He talked about it with Sebastian Rogers and kind of rolled it all into one horrific unsolved case file. Nick Barris said on, and I believe the guy. I think he's a good reporter. There's a lot of people that don't like him, and some people do. I think he's fine. I got no problem with Nick Barris. I think he does a fine job. I mean, he reported that they were that they believed that it was foul play. They believed what they were investigating at the time to be foul play. He said that. Not somebody that wandered off, not a child wandered off that got attacked by an animal, none of that. It was, the consensus was that they were investigating. They were investigating foul play. No owl. no owl. No aliens. None of it. The boys are fine. They're doing great. I mean, they're doing well. TM is protecting secrets. Protecting secrets, getting out, period. But someone's always watching. Tree trimmers were vetted. Tree trimmers were completely vetted. You know. I'm going to bring that up to. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Oops. All right, so this is July 3rd. This is 3 weeks after Summer goes missing. Nick Barris. Where is Summer Wells? No updates are expected today from TBI, FBI, or Hawkins County, but that does not mean I won't post about that missing 5-year-old, missing 5-year-old. So here I am wanting to make sure no one forgets. It's been nearly 3 weeks now since the little girl vanished from her Rogersville home. The search efforts continue. My sources tell me it now seems highly unlikely Summer just wandered off into the woods alone and got lost. Had she, by now, K9s would have hit on something. The general consensus at this time is that she is the victim of foul play. How quickly we forget. Either abduction or someone close to her, a friend, family member, neighbor, harmed her. But the TBI has named no suspects. That actually changed when Ronnie Lawson was pressed about it. My belief is someone out there knows something, perhaps more than one person was involved, and maybe, just maybe, someone is feeling regret, feeling the guilt, and perhaps will do the right thing. It could happen, but who am I kidding? Anyone who would harm a child is a monster and a coward. At this point, all possibilities are on the table, but after more than 750 tips, nothing. Any trail, if there was one, is getting colder by the day. Remember, there's a $50,000 in reward money. Investigators need a good lead. Call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Okay. I mean, this was the lead reporter on the case. This is the lead reporter on Sebastian's case. And it looks like he fully believes, and I know that this is just his opinion, but he has sources, better sources than I do, better sources than you do. And I'm telling you that when you look at this right here, all right, my sources, now the 3 weeks after she goes missing, they have been just searching and this huge, massive search going on. The general consensus at this time is that she is a victim of foul play. Either an abduction, which they say that they have no evidence of, or a family member, a neighbor harmed her. I mean, that is... Let's just put it this way. That's about as cut and dry as it gets. Oh, absolutely, Ava. Let me see here. I'll show you. Nick Barris has been with Channel 5 for about 25, 30 years. He's a great reporter. He's actually a really, really good reporter. So, and a lot of this got buried. When I mean that it got buried, it's just that I don't know why people have forgotten about this stuff. I mean, it is so that is so ingrained in my head that the Nick Barris is saying that the consensus between all of his sources 3 weeks after Summer goes missing is that she's a victim of foul play. It's highly unlikely that she wandered off. And I hear people still to this day talking about how she wandered off, and possibly an animal got her, or that Detective Pruitt thinks that an animal got her and that's it, and that he's not investigating anymore. All that is nonsense. It's malarkey. It's not true. That's not what they are investigating, and that's not what they've been investigating. Listen to the DA. Listen to what the DA said. What did he say? He said that this case has been made more complicated by the players that are involved. What players might that be? Now, once again, let's circle back to Dawn not even supposed to have been at the home, according to what he told Dudley. Now, I get it. Dudley is a felon. I understand. Dudley, you can take with a grain of salt. But there was an investigation going on. There was a open and CPS investigation, and Don has never forgotten what they did to him. And Melissa Firestone, thank you so much. It's very kind of you. I appreciate it. I think that when people, I just want this to happen. I think that Nick Barris's post from 3 weeks ago should be shared much more. I know that it got buried and lost in all the rigmarole. I get that it's a scathing write-up. I understand that Don and Candace don't like it. But I mean, that's the lead reporter on the case. He's the lead reporter. He's the same one that's covering Sebastian's case. He does have sources, legitimate sources. And I don't think that he would have said that the consensus is that she went missing, or that she didn't go missing, and that this is a foul play situation. Now, you don't have to be a genius to figure that out. But every day that goes by where nothing comes of this, every single day, whoever's responsible for this is living the life of luxury. Well, I say luxury, the luxury of freedom. They have the luxury of freedom. They have the luxury of walking around, doing, hanging out, talking on the phone. There are levels to victimhood. And I know that in this day and age that it's better to be a victim and make everybody a victim. I have that much sympathy for Don and Candace, and there are people out there that hate me for it. They think I'm mean-spirited. They don't like the way that I cover the case. They don't like that Don and I don't get along. I don't have any sort of, I've talked to Candace a few different times, but I have no sympathy for them because it was obvious what was going on in that house. Meaning the children were not being taken care of. One goes missing, 3 are taken. And then if you want to go back a couple of decades, maybe 2 to 3, you might find similar situations just with different players. Again, the state can't get kids away from them fast enough. They sat there and they laughed on a phone call with me about some $5,000 tape that Don said that his boss was accused of buying from him. This is real. This is absolutely real. Don laughed hysterically. Why? What's so funny? And I remember asking him that. What's so funny? Everybody said, and I want to be clear about this. Everybody says that, this case is cold and there's nothing new and there's nothing this or there's nothing that. Why are people attacking the family? I can guarantee you that this is never going away. Never. Yeah, ever. Until Summer is found, it's never going away. And it shouldn't. But it's not going to go away. It's not something that, like I said, there are people waiting in the wings. Very talented investigators with many, many years of investigation experience. And we're not just talking Chris. There's many, many more that are waiting, that are ready to lend a hand. You get it. And the longer that this goes on, the more people will say, well, how would you like it if you were missing and nobody could find you? And you just say, well, it's been 3 years. You give it a rest. Give it a rest. No. For what? Why? Why should anybody give it a rest? Look right there from the lead reporter on the case. My sources tell me it now seems highly unlikely Summer just wandered off into the woods alone and got lost. Had she by now, canines would have hit on something. The general consensus at this time is that she is the victim. She's the victim of foul play. Dawn's no victim. Candace is no victim at all. The victim are the children. Those are the victims. It's always the children who suffer from their parents' bullshit. It's always the children that get used as emotional, they use it to emotionally manipulate people. It's always the kids that get stuck in the middle because people can't get it together. And Dawn and Candace could not get it together. No fault. I'm not faulting them for that. But what I am faulting them for is making sure that this case is as cold as possible. Candace sat in that interview room and with police, and all she said was, I don't know. And I don't know. She didn't say a word. Nothing. Not a thing. Not a thing. And I know Don hates me and he wishes I would shut up about it, but I won't. I refuse. I know people say, well, you're just a tragedy pimp or whatever it is that they call people that cover cases. None of that shames me. None of that makes me feel bad because I know it's not true. I don't care what people think. Anybody that's going to defend shitty parents, I could care less about what they think. I know the kind of people that Dawn and Candace are. I know them. I know who they are. And everybody else does too. They just pretend. Oh, well, oh my goodness. Poor Dawn, poor Candace. Well, you just wait. You wait till you find out exactly what Don had been up to. It involves his parents, and there's a lot to it. But it also involves money, GoFundMe's, and stolen property. There's a lot. There will be a lot. A lot. And like I said, this is something that we've been looking into for a long time. The problem is, you got to really get your ducks in a row here, because you want to be accurate about the information, because no matter what you do, people are going to throw, they're just going to kick dirt on it. And that's fine. But there'll be proof. Okay? That's the problem. And it involves large sums of money. Why? I don't exactly know. But Don knows what he's doing. And if anybody is Don's friend that watches this, tell Don that we're on to him. And we know what's going on in Utah and what they're doing. He'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's he's not gonna be happy about it when we go live about it. And we will. I have no problem. I have no problem airing their dirty laundry, because I do think that it has something to do with the case. There's just a lot. And I wish I could tell you more, but like I said, we got to get it all confirmed. Did I hear there are new? No, I don't think so. Well, he'll avoid me. He'll avoid me. The problem is that, it would behoove him to speak with me. And then if he doesn't want to, I'll speak with his sister, Sonia, soon. It's not, he doesn't need a heads up. We already got it. There's no heads up needed. I already know about it. I already have most of it. So that's going to be, like I said, that'll be interesting. But it's just more malfeasance on the part of Don. And it's that there's just a lot to it. And his sister, Sonia, she may want to get on the party line as well. Mary is great. I talked to Mary just the other day. Mary's doing fine. I think Mary just did a, what is it? A live. Like a cooking live. Dude. Noel. You think that he hated me before? He's gonna hate me so much worse, and that's fine. I'm fine with it. Little Bit gifted 5. Is it a little bit? I believe it was. Sorry about that. Little Bit gifting 5 lab memberships. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Once again, I just got to tell you that we continue to talk about this case. We continue to uncover stuff and we'll continue to bring it to the public because everything in this case should be public. All right. How are they smart enough to get away with this? Smart enough to get away with it. Well, as far as I know, the case isn't closed, and a lot of these missing people cases go on for years. I mean, this is not anything new. I would say either end of the week or early next week with a follow-ups and all that kind of stuff. There's going to be a lot to unpack. And I'm excited to bring it to you. And yeah. And we'll have our ducks in a row and everything will be good and solid. We'll get all the everything necessary. I'm not just gonna come out and say blah 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 and hope you believe me. That's just not how it's gonna go. And that's the same thing. I know that Don was saying that he wants to go on TV and tell people about his CPS or DCS lie. That's really what it is, a lie, or his theory that has nothing tangible to it. And let me see. Muscles in Mascara. Thank you for gifting 5 lab memberships. It's just give me a little time and we'll get it. I know, but there are things that are going to come out, and hopefully that reinvigorates and sheds some new light on maybe the status of what's going on. Let's see. Yeah, well, you know what? I don't. So I don't know what happened, but my call-in studio, I have to recharge it, or I don't know. I didn't put any money on it, so. You're about the 3rd creator I have heard saying Don's time is about up. Please let it be soon. I will. I'll take more live calls this week. I will. I'll get it all set up. So, I will definitely measure twice, cut once. As and I want to say this too, because as that I know that somebody just said, how are they smart enough to get away with this? Don's not completely dumb, specifically when it comes to like crimes. This guy was like the biggest major violator around Ogden. Guy stole guns from his father and stuck up a liquor store. That's armed robbery and grand larceny. How he didn't get a good 10 years in prison, I'm not sure. He also stole their wedding rings and pawned those, and on, and there's just so much to it. This is something that's been going on forever. Do not be fooled. The red panties, oh my God, one of the craziest things I've ever, the things that he admitted to the cops. And then when I asked him about it, he said that they lied about everything and that he didn't have any drugs on him. That they lied about everything. It was a girlfriend of his, blah, blah, blah. That's what he told me. I swear. That's exactly what he told me. it was always somebody's fault. It was wild. Don is street smart. There's no question about it. He knows. I mean, you heard the conversation. It's funny too, because somebody the other day was listening to that tape where the detective called, and when a lot of people said like that was me, I still get comments on there. Oh, it sounds like Josh. I'm just like, oh my god, yeah, it was me. I called the police station and pretended to be Don, or I pretended to be a detective, and questioned him about stuff. There are people that still believe that, which to me just means that there's too many sharp corners in the world. I get really nervous for people, who think that kind of, like, they think that way. I don't know how somebody makes it that far in life. You would think at some point they would have picked like a berry that wasn't any good, that you shouldn't have ate, and it would just, went the way of the road, or I don't know, just walked off a steep cliff on accident, or, I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird. I do wonder how people have survived so long thinking the way that they do. It's really strange to me. Like, you ever meet like a really dumb, like 65-year-old person? There's not a lot of, it's like an alligator that's, that ends up at 15 feet. Like, the alligator didn't end up at 15 feet just because it sat there. Like, it knew what to do. So like, the older you get, you have to have some smarts. And then sometimes you're like, well, this person, 45 was really his limit. Darwinism really caught up to him. I don't even believe in that kind of stuff, but I do believe that survival of the fittest is a real thing. However, we do live in a society where the government will take care of you if they think that you can't take care of yourself. So that's why people last as long as they do now. And, if you go around just like blowing bubbles with your mouth all the time, and you can get one of your eyes to wander towards the middle, then the government will probably take care of you. I mean, it's just, I know that there are people that actually need it, but they're, imagine what a friggin' country we live in, huh? Let's see. Josh, what about the criminals that started with no smarts? Do they get smarter or do they get dumber and slip up? I mean, most of the time they just end up going to prison. Most of the time they just end up going to prison. I don't think that you get, like, I think that you can adapt, like that Rex Heuermann guy. I think that he got better at what he was doing as he went on. But I don't think that like petty criminals do really, really good stuff. Like when they're, dumb. There are smart criminals and there are some really dumb ones. Well, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. And Josh, Justin, Trev, love them. I really hope. And I saw Seth in the chat earlier. Seth, what's up, man? We're not giving up on yours. We're not giving up on your son either. That's a promise, man. We're not. I mean, I know that there's just a lot of horse crap surrounding it. The actual case itself seems to be fairly simple. So we'll see. We're not giving up. And I know you're not giving up. And keep going because, the criticism it's just not important. Let them criticize, let them say what you want, but you keep getting the word out there the way that you're doing it. Have whoever you want by your side. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, there's a lot to it. So I'll be back probably tomorrow. I appreciate you guys being here. And Eric, thank you for the super chat. Check out the Witness Box. We'll have a new episode this week. Lab After Dark. If you're not subscribed to Lab After Dark, we got some fun shows. If you want to have a little bit of fun, who knows what we get into there. Sometimes it's me just having a meltdown, you know, freaking out about nothing. Check that out. You might like it. You might not. You might hate it. It's different than this, but check it out. We got Lab After Dark 199, Lab After Dark 200 coming up. Those are going to be big, fun shows. When I say big, I don't know how big, but they'll be fun. All right? So make sure to check it out. Sub up. If somebody could put that in the Chiznat, Lab After Dark. Check out the interview room as well. And take a look at Dr. Gary's book, The New Evil, if you are into that sort of thing. It's a great book. It's huge. Massive.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
It's got a lot of good stuff in it. Thank you for giving me that. I appreciate it. Michael, thank you so much for your support.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Right.
You don't get alerts? Well, make sure to unsubscribe and then subscribe. Now, it's very important.
Son, where'd you find
It's
this?
very important. Very important. The second part. The first part is important. The second part, holy crap. Unsub and then resub. Hit up Mary's channel too. Yes, that is in that we can put that in there as well. Amy King says UCPFHT1LO _ BWT7CI5XC. Oh, damn it. Why'd you do that? I was reading it. I'll check you guys later. Single mom, good to see you. Hope you're well. Thank you for being here. Melly, send me an email. I know you mod for a lot of channels, and I do need a couple. LabRatArmy@gmail. LabRatArmy@gmail. That's good, Amy. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Find this.
Lulu. Love you, Lulu. Little bit. Wait, why isn't Little Bit a mod? Little Bit, you're a mod. I don't know what's going on here.
Chunk, chunk.
Right. Right. Right.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Don't worry about it, Rachel. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Being here, liking and subscribing is a huge part of it. And that helps out more than you know. I don't either, but you're back, so. I love it. You're the best.